This video is dedicated to me being a complete muppet that makes a lot of mistakes and is doing things while he's on the phone and wants to move that crate so he can get his cheek pad and forgets he's throwing 2 grins. Life's like that. Well, hello there, humans, if you earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the M16A4. Indeed, we're going to go deep undercover with this little bad boy. This was once upon a time my favourite gun in the game, and for good reason, and I'll break down why that is, outline a couple of the changes that appear to have happened. We don't get a lot of change notification from PUBG Mobile, so it's very difficult outside of anecdotal evidence and testing to actually say empirically that something's changed. But the M16A4 has definitely fallen off. It is still accurate to a point at range, but it used to have the first 2 rounds land very close together. And the other thing that isn't talked about with this gun is that when you're tap firing the 16A4, for instance, or the Mark 47 Mutant, there is a limit to how fast you can tap. So you can tap as quick as you want, but you won't be able to fire it faster than, say, every 10th of a second. Even if you can tap it every 1/5 of a second, every 0.05 seconds. That means that sometimes you miss the actual button's perfect moment to tap. So you press the button on the screen at 0.08, you can actually press it at 0.10, then you go past that and you get to 0.13 before you press it again. So getting that perfect timing right is very, very tough. And when the gun originally came out, when the game originally came out, it wasn't like that at all. You could tap the crap out of it and you could make it fire incredibly fast. It was just crazy, and it was nerfed, and you know, a lot of people used to use this gun as their main weapon, and it's still used a lot as a secondary sniper, but that's not really where the strength of the weapon lies. I'm going to talk to you today about what it does very, very well, and that is up close and personal, CQC. It is a phenomenally good weapon at almost like shotgun style. So I will often use it in situations where I'm using it like a shotgun, where you'll lean and peek and burst and pull back. And in that one burst, you can fire off 3 rounds. Now, a level 2 helmet and a level 2 vest wearing target can take 2 in the chest from one burst and 1 in the head, and they will go down straight away. There is no way around it. That is a 100% kill. If you look at the right side of the screen, though, you will see a wonderful little spray graph. The gun actually doesn't have huge amounts of recoil side to side. It does have a lot of vertical recoil, but the problem is you can see those funny little groupings are 3-round bursts at very close range. And even at close range, if you're pointing at one point, it is going to veer off wildly. Left, right, left. You just don't know where it's going to go. So if you're going to use this in anything other than very close quarters combat, you're going to be very disappointed with the performance of the weapon, because it's not that the recoil is wild left and right, it's that each individual burst has such a massive variance, and that is with a compensator at, say, 8 meters, that spray pattern. So you can see that is very, very tough. So what it does well now is it actually runs great as a CQC weapon, which it has always done, but it doesn't run great at any kind of range. You'll get a hit, sure, and you might get lucky and get 2 hits on a burst at range, but generally you're just going to get 1 hit and 2 rounds that fly all over the place, or 2 hits, and that's quite often not enough to get the job done. What it does very well is this. I'm going to show you an example of this. This guy's going to peek, and I remember how I talked to you about that lean out. I'm going to slow this down for you, and I'm going to time it for you. So that gets up to 0.15 of a second to fire those 3 rounds in that burst. So if you lean out and hit that shotgun like 0.15 of a second, you can land 3 shots at CQC and absolutely shred in that situation, because those 3 shots, if that's 2 chests and 1 head and a level 2 vest, that's over 100 health, and they're done and dusted. Even if it's not, like a shot from this will do 56 damage to a level 2 helmet. It'll do 40 base damage to a no vest wearing target, and 24 damage to a level 2 vest. So if you can land 2 level 2 vest shots, that's half their hit point pool. And that's very easy to do when you're doing quick leaning and pulling back. You can see how brutal it is like that. Over time, the gun slows down, but that initial burst of fire, that 3-round burst, is very, very effective, because you're firing 3 rounds with the press of 1 button. which is almost instantaneous. That means in 0.15 of a second, you can throw 3 rounds out very quickly. Oh, I love that little sneaky jump. Love it. Run out of ammo. Got his mate. Lucky we knocked him on that last burst because we got nothing left. What it's good for is you whack a red dot on it, you whack a compensator on it, and you get good at tap firing on the move, and you can have a very effective weapon. It does not lend itself to thumb play. I mean, you can use it as a secondary DMR style weapon, but I just want to outline something here. We tested this yesterday in a custom room. I had 6 mates helping me, and the damage for all the 5.56 ARs is still 40 base each. They're all 56 damage on a headshot to a level 2 helmet. And because of that, although the M16A4 is purported to have a higher shell velocity, and it does feel like it has a slightly higher shell velocity than, say, an M416 or any of those guns, you can run those guns and they will do just as good a job as a secondary sniper weapon as an M16A4 will. Plus you can add attachments to them and improve the gun handling. And when you don't want to fire them in single shot, you can go to full auto mode with those weapons. And that can be really, really helpful if you're a thumb player, because if you're a thumb player, an M16A4's burst mode is next to useless when you're in CQC, and that is where the gun is the most successful. If you're doing it outside of CQC, then, well, I mean, if you're bursting at range, you're much better off running another 5.56 AR and shoving an AKM or something in the primary slot and using that as your close quarters weapon. Because even as a thumb player, you can hold that fire button down and drag your thumb around the screen in full auto and aim the weapon and strafe. If you are not a thumb player and you're a claw player, or you're using triggers or something, then yeah, you can get a lot more value out of the M16A4. And I still do love running this gun because it has a very nostalgic feeling for me, and it's a gun that's been in just about every shooter that I've ever played, like an M16 and an AKM. They've always featured, and you know, it's a gun that's got a lot of history, and it's got a lot of backstory, I guess, and it creates an immersive environment for me. You're running around the jungles of Sanhok with an M16A4. It looks very cool. I really am. I'd love to have someone data mine some shell velocity numbers for me. I've tried all kinds of tests, and because of server latency, desync, everything like that, I can't get any kind of solid numbers. I can have a general sense of what's faster, but I can't really turn that how much into any kind of raw number, and that's very disappointing for me. The 16A4 is a gun that I think has a very high skill level. If you want to use this thing in CQC, you've got to be good enough for it, because it is a very tough thing to be both accurate and effective with the weapon, because if you've got to stand still in CQC, you're going to be hopeless with it. If you can learn how to use it like that shotgun, that pro lean out, burst, pro lean back, you can make a lot of hay, because this thing, everyone's had those moments with an M16A4, just like an AKM, where they feel like they've won the gunfight, and lo and behold, they've then just got completely cleansed from 100% health through to 0 in one burst, because it's gone tap, 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 and ridden right up through the middle into the noggin. And yeah, that'll do a lot of bad things for you. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm away in New Zealand at the moment, but I hope you're enjoying the videos that I've done to drop. If you want to become a member of the Patreon community, it's patreon.com/thebushka. If you want to see all these spreadsheets and numbers that I'm using at the moment, they are updated, they are new, they are raw, they are happy. And I'm sorry for the length of time that took me to do, then it's on my Discord server at the link in the description. Look after yourself, boys and girls, and as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.